Welcome back, everyone. Hello, everyone in the chat, everyone tuning at home. How amazing was that last session? Gosh, we were just talking about this backstage, but like Gina and Marie together are just phenomenal, and all the insights that were shared from both of them was so good. I'd watch a buddy comedy with both of them. It was phenomenal. But how's everyone doing? Hello, hey everyone, hello. That's right. Thank you all again for tuning in for day 2 of our virtual summit. If you didn't catch that amazing, wonderful interview with Marie Forleo earlier today, don't worry, head on over to our People Magic community, peoplemagic.mn.co, so you can catch all of the summit replays that will be inside there and ask all the questions, all the amazing questions that you all are asking within our chat right now. Yes, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being here. Yeah, all the insight that Marie shared was phenomenal. And I hope that got you pumped for learning even more throughout today and tomorrow, because we have a lot in store, just like our next session. So get ready, everyone, because our next speaker leads life cycle marketing at Mighty Networks. She has a vast career at startup marketing spaces, large and small. She even worked at Twitter. So she's seen it all. And that's even more reason why she knows that building a community is the future for all of you entrepreneurs that are in the chat and tuning in. This session is going to be full of information, so I know you all are taking notes, but make sure to keep doing so, because Jane here is going to help you plan your community for now up until January 2025. So let's get some clapping emojis, if we can, in the chat, and give a big warm welcome to Mighty's VP of Lifecycle Marketing, Jane Stecyk.
Hello. Oh my gosh. Look, I am the woman dumb enough to say, I'll follow Marie Forleo. Sure. Let me hop on board after that amazing session. But
yeah,
I'm excited.
No, you're going to give us so much information, Jane. So happy to have you here.
But here's the thing, caveat. Yes, a lot of information. You are going to leave this session not feeling overwhelmed, not trying to organize your notes, but feeling super confident, super empowered. That is the goal. And we got some stuff to get through. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's do that. Does that sound good to everybody? You want to feel confident. You want to have a plan. Give me some love in the chat. I'm going to look at the chat. We'll do questions at the end as well if we have time. But I love to pick and choose things from the chat as we go. So I want to ground everybody in what we are doing here today, because it's the perfect lead-in. We are focused on getting you to launch for January. You've heard this throughout the session. January is the Super Bowl for courses, communities, membership, for some really fantastic reasons, some things you can tap into. If you've heard the expression, new year, new you, we make our New Year's resolution. January is when people are, what are people in January when they're thinking about becoming the best version of themselves? I think I see some people typing in the chat. They are in a transition, and you, as a course creator, you can tap into that transition. You can give people their best year ever. Gina had the answer, in transition, but she is kind of a ringer, so we'll get there. We'll get there. So that is why we are focused on January, but I will let the rest of the summit keep you on track for that January launch. And in this hour today, we are going to talk about the rest of the year. The rest of the year, because January is the beginning. What I don't want you to do is get all hyped for January and then start panicking about March, feel scared in September. That is not the energy we are bringing into 2025. So in this session today, you are going to learn how to plan out your entire year. And I promise you, it's going to be way more fun and radically easier than you can imagine right now by the end of this session. Keep me honest. I'm looking for feedback. If I tell you lies, you let me know. We're going to talk about how to shift from content to connection. So I'm in marketing. I have been trained over the years when I think about planning, I start to think about, okay, this content here, and we'll repurpose this content here. So if you are also in marketing, deep breath, not doing that today. We're talking about how you can shift from content to connection with your plan, and that is what this is designed to do. Susan says she needs this today. We all need this. Awesome. So glad you're here, Susan. You are going to learn how to keep your members coming back without you burning out and without them feeling overwhelmed. Marie talked about this so much. Someone said it in the chat. I am putting simplify to amplify on my vision board. I'm going to do the same thing. So, so important. And then if we have time, we're going to talk about how to nail the first experience. If we do not have time, I'm around. I'm going to do a live bonus session in the community, the People Magic community, about the first experience if we don't have time today. So let's see how things go. And then finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about the tool support and accountability you have on your side through Mighty, through the challenge, through the community in the chat, and then in the People Magic community. I see the link flying around there, which is awesome. And I'm going to talk in particular about one of our tools. This is the magic tool in your toolbox as you go through this experience, which is the People Magic GPT. Does that sound good? I see somebody saying I'm amazing, so I'm going to take that as a yes. Let's start with the foundation. So Gina has talked at length about this. If you have gone through People Magic Profit, you have learned this principle. You are going to hear it repeated throughout the final days of this session, and that is your ideal member is somebody in a transition. So if you're not yet clear on who your ideal member is or the transition they're in, I'm going to tell you how to get clear. So why are we focused on a transition? It's that new year, new you mentality. People are motivated to meet other people. They want to navigate this transition with a community around them. They recognize the value of it. They are ready to pay for that progress, and they can see, they're like, I know I want to get to here. I need people to help me get there. And that energy that results, that's your flywheel. They have momentum to see that progress. And when they get it, they talk to people about it, and they will invite more people into your community. So we're going to talk about your community design plan. It all goes back to who is your ideal member and what is that transition they are going through. And the formula is super simple. A human in transition. And I saw this question earlier, and this is where we're going to get into that tool. I know kind of what my topic is, but I don't know what transition to pick or how to think about it. Enter the People Magic GPT. I saw a link to it in the chat. We also have a space in the community where you can learn more about it. And here is the most important thing. Every prompt I'm going to show you, and the prompt is what you give the GPT to get something out. Every prompt I'm going to show you today is in this article in our challenge community. So you have it all there. You can copy and paste, but we're going to go through it today. So when you're thinking about how do I get clarity on the transition, ask the GPT, can you give me 3 transitions to think about for my topic? Your topic could be yoga, it could be leadership, it could be becoming a parent, it could be moving cities, whatever you feel called to bring people together around, that is your topic. And then get more specific. Can you refine it? I love this one you came up with. Can you refine it to make it even more specific? And this is going to give you the language to help you tell a story about this transition someone is going through. This is prompt number 1 that we're going to use to plan out our year, our breakthrough year on Mighty. And what are you going to do for your member in transition? You are going to get them their best year ever. And one of the things I really love about this framework and People Magic Profit is that it pushes you to think dramatically, think big, dream bigger, because that pushes your member to dream bigger. And we get out what we put into things, and setting that aspirational best year ever is so, so important. Your best year ever. It's what is your member able to do in a year that they can't today? How do they feel? What are the experience they've had? What have they accomplished? Who have they met? And you really want to take that result and add those memorable specifics. And maybe you're like, Jane, I'm not a creative writer. I don't know how to tell a story about this. Maybe you're feeling like you don't really have the language to get into this. I think you know what's going to come. Use the GPT. And I want to stop here for a second, because another thing I was so inspired by in Marie's talk was AI is going to keep blowing our minds, but it's really people that have the value. And even though I'm talking about how to use this AI tool today to plan your community, I totally agree with that. And this to me is not a replacement for brainstorming and workshopping, especially alongside everybody here in this chat in the People Magic community. But if you're anything like me, just being faced with a blank page can feel really intimidating, and I can get stuck there, and I don't want to get started. And the goal of these prompts is to get you past that step and give you these inputs to get you there. And Jordan says, what was that step in the formula? It was results and then memorable specifics. So this prompt is going to help you get to those memorable specifics. So you start it with, hey, I know my ideal member now. I run a community for this person. In a year, add your result. Ask it to help you craft a couple sentences about the best year ever. But we're not going to stop there, because Sierra says memorable specifics are your selling point. What I find even more compelling is wrapping those memorable specifics in a story. Ask it to write you a story. Give me a day in their life. Who have they met? Tell me about how that year has unfolded. I promise you, this will be so inspiring and just really help you hold that member in the head and help you visualize their transition. And if you can see it, you are going to be able to build it for them. Okay, we're moving quickly because this is the meat that I wanted to get into, which is your community design plan. This is your plan for the year. You are going to leave this session feeling like you can have the plan for the year in the next day. I promise you. Michelle, this is a game changer. I could not agree more, dude. All right, so what is your community design plan? At a basic level, it's your editorial calendar. But just if you have ever worked in the world of social media, do not close your laptop and right away. This is not an editorial calendar where you're like, okay, I got to post on TikTok 17 times, and I have to take that and change that content into this and like get all over the place. No, this is about building prompts, events, themes that are focused on connection, not content, and get your members engaging with each other, which is people magic. Okay, so as Marie said, I'm just going to keep referencing that summit because I love it so much. As Marie said, it's not that there's no content, but the type of content you are putting in is actually designed to get your members talking to each other. It's going to keep things novel. It's going to keep things interesting. So people know what the big result is they're building to, but they still are finding new things to come back to your community for. And you're going to plan it in 1 to 2 hours. I promise you. I promise you. And it has 3 elements: monthly themes, weekly calendar, daily polls and questions. And we're going to start at the top, and we are going to go down to the daily polls and questions. And this is what it's going to look like. We have this template available for you. If you want to print it out, if you want to write on it, that's great. And we're going to build this together. And if you look at all of our material on Mighty, we have tons and tons of examples of many, many real communities on Mighty. We tell you, hey, this is their ideal member. This is the best year ever. These are their monthly themes. But what I did in this one is I made up a community because I want to show you how you can build it and how flexible it is. So my ideal member for my fake community, are amateur runners who want to transition to running ultra marathons. They've never run an ultra. They're in a little bit of a mindset rut. If you don't know what an ultra is, it is like 100-mile race. And by the way, I personally have no interest in doing this, but maybe by the end of this I will. Their best year ever, they have completed their first ultra. They've found a new level of confidence, clarity, and peace. And so we're going to take this community and we're going to build out our monthly themes and our weekly calendar, and we're going to talk about daily polls and questions. And someone's asking for the template. We will have it for you in the community. Key, Jordan, lots of bonuses and love coming this week and then throughout the 30-day challenge, as Gina has mentioned. Monthly themes. Let's talk about monthly themes. This is what keeps things novel and interesting for your members. And think of it a little bit like the seasons of a TV show. You're building to this overarching result, to the best year ever. But each month it's the same characters, it's the same motivation, some different plot lines to explore. My metaphor is about to break down though, because unlike a TV show, someone can come in at any point and not feel like, oh my gosh, I have to catch up on all of these things. So I'll explain to you how you can structure things for that. There are 3 prompts, and I'll give you the actual prompts I like to use when thinking about monthly themes for any community. Mindset, milestones, and seasonality. Y'all, I tried to think of a third M. I tried to have an alliteration moment. I failed. I went for clarity over cuteness. If there's an obvious M I am missing, I welcome your feedback in the chat. Please send it to me. So mindset, what could that look like for our ultra running community? A mindset theme is all about helping your members overcome their limiting beliefs. And this is just all about the power of community. When we are trying to achieve something really big on our own, we have one voice in our head. And I don't know about you all, but sometimes my voice is not that nice. It's not that friendly. It's like, you can't do that. But when I'm in community, just like today, I have people gassing me up in the chat saying, oh my gosh, you and Marie. I'm like, whoa, that is amazing. Just like that, when we are in community, we are knocking down limiting beliefs left and right. So having your themes tap into that can be really, really powerful. So one limiting belief for our ultra marathons, our would-be ultra marathon runners, could be, I don't have anybody to support me on this journey. I can't do this big thing on my own. They show up in October. It's all about identifying your cheerleaders, who's going to be waiting for you at the finish line. Of course, the community is behind you. And you can build an entire year around these themes. I'm seeing some really good M ideas for seasonality. Just thank you in the chat. I love it. Milestones. What would a monthly theme looks like that was built around milestones? And milestones are just taking that big goal and breaking it down into the pieces of the puzzle you need to put together. And I purposely chose a running community so I could make this point. It does not mean, a milestone theme does not mean in January we're running 10K. In February we're doing 20, March 30, on and on. Because what would happen if somebody shows up in October, right? They're not going to start at 80K. And of course, you may have a community, look, we open the doors, we're all in it in a cohort for a whole year, but most people tend to have people joining throughout the year. So a milestone is just the pieces of the puzzle. People may do them in different steps, but I could join this community in November and get something out of the theme and know how to contribute my own stories, my experiences. One question I'm seeing in the chat, what I'm talking about here, are we going to do some of these in the 30-day challenge? Yes, we are going to talk about these and help you get these for your community in the 30-day challenge. So this whole thing is a commercial for hanging out with me, Tanisha, Maya in the 30-day challenge. And then finally, seasonality. I saw somebody say moments. I like that. I might steal that. Seasonality is simply tapping into the shared cultural language many of us have around what is happening, what is the vibe at certain points of the year. Now, of course, could be hemisphere dependent, but you can adapt this no matter where you are in the world, and you can just think about, okay, where are most of my ideal members for this community? So for this edition, we're talking about training on vacation in August. We're doing kind of a back to school vibe in September. You can see how this aligns to the seasonality or the moments, stealing it, across the year. And I saw this question in the chat. I think Gina answered, but don't pick just one. You can, but the whole point is these are frameworks and you can mix and match them. So you don't have to go all in on one. You can play with them all and then choose what works for the year in the life, the best year ever that you are planning for your members. And it's not going to take you a whole day to brainstorm these. So we're going to go to our People Magic GPT. We're going to say, I run a community for ideal member in a year. Here's our result. And we can brainstorm our mindset themes, talk about removing limiting beliefs. We can brainstorm our milestone themes. So in here, we're being really specific. Look, I want somebody to be able to join at any time. If you have a cohort, they're only joining in 1 month altogether. You can remove that, but for everybody else, keep it in. And then seasonality or our moments. What aligns with the vibes, the seasonal trends, the holidays. And if you don't like the answer, ask it to come back with another one. You can play with this all day, but you don't have to. And then you can also, for this seasonality one, you can say, hey, most of the people joining will be based in the Southern Hemisphere, in Canada, in a specific region, or even in a city. We have a lot of fantastic Mighty networks that are building online and in real life communities in places like Chicago, New York, Miami. So you can get really specific here and tap into some really fun things. So here is what my community design plan looks like so far. And I think we're doing good for time. We got our monthly themes. Now let's move to our weekly calendar. If your monthly themes organize your month, I think you can guess what we are going to learn here in the weekly calendar. And I really love this one because this is when you get a real sense of your workload as the host of this community. I saw some discussion in some of the talks yesterday around, okay, like when do I hire my full-time person? How big is the team that has to do this? And what I'm really hoping you will take away from this section on the weekly calendar is you can start with just you. You could have a co-host, but the whole point of this is to make it manageable for both you and your members. So let's get into it. A good weekly calendar has 3 things going for it. It is focused on member contributions. So you are thinking about what are the events and prompts that I can put in my community that encourage my members to come together and connect. Harry says, I wish we could do this exercise for a 2-week challenge. You can do this exercise in the 30-day challenge with us, Harry. And if you can't make it for the whole 30 days, you will be able to catch up when you can. A good weekly calendar also prizes consistency and stays manageable. And these 2 things are very intertwined. So you might be tempted to say, I am going to throw everything at this community. I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to have something every single day, and I'm going to bring in all these guest speakers, and I'm going to switch it up. I'm just going to stuff it full of so much value for people. I think you can see where I'm going here. It's chaotic, it's overwhelming to your members, and it's just not sustainable for you. So let's look at a few of the things you could do, and then I'm going to show you some of these examples of some weekly calendars. So when we talk about focusing on connection over content, these are some fantastic ideas you can steal, and the prompts will help you adapt them to your specific community. But these are really applicable everywhere. So there's things where you're just bringing people together in both general and really specific ways. Things like office hours, Q&A, you're holding space for people to come and discuss something that is related to the results they want to get, the transition they are going through. You can be more specific here with give and ask. So we do this, sometimes we do it with a specific member in our community. Hey, here's a member. They have this to provide to the community. This is what they're asking for. We've also done it in our communities for people building community on kind of these topical levels. So we'll say, hey, everyone who has a podcast, please share it on this post. And then everyone who's willing to be a guest on the podcast, please share what you have to contribute. And we had some fantastic matchmaking happening between members. Another great focus way for members to connect is around this idea of dream bigger. And I think this actually was the brainchild of Gina and Marie, though they didn't mention it in the session. But dream bigger is you have a member showing up and they say, hey, this is my plan. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm starting. This could work great for kind of entrepreneurial communities. And then everyone in the community is saying, what if you went even bigger? What if you thought more creatively? What if you did this? And is just pushing them. This one is awesome if you are in a monthly theme around removing those limiting beliefs. You can help people move through content together. So again, content is not necessarily all bad. It's just you want to do it in a way where people are engaging with it together. So challenge of the week, book discussion, skill of the week, all involve some sort of content, but you are encouraging people to go through it together. And then there's shining a light on your members. So introducing new members in an event, we do this in our own communities. What I love about this is not only do we have new members showing up really excited to introduce themselves, what they're looking to get out of the community, we always without fail have existing members showing up as a welcoming committee. We don't even ask them to. They just show up. They're like, I'm excited to see who's here. I want to offer my perspective, and it is a fantastic, fantastic experience for all involved. There are lots of examples of these. We will post a guide in the community all around a weekly calendar, but I'm going to keep going because I want to help you get really, really specific. And let me just show you an example of what I would consider a common mistake people can make when it comes to their weekly calendar. It's going out like this. So for my running community, I'm really excited. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to have Mindset Mondays. I have a great guest speaker. We're going to do a book club, training, office hours, all in week one. I'm stuffing it full. Week two, my guest speaker can't make it on Tuesday, so I'm going to put that on Monday. We'll skip Mindset Mondays this week. And then, oh, shoot, I got to move the book club. I got a dentist appointment. And, I can't do the new member introduction. My cat needs to be groomed, so I'm going to have to move that. I think you can start to see the problem here. My members are confused. They're overwhelmed. It's kind of like that. Have you seen that meme where somebody walks into the door and then like immediately backs out? Kind of risk of that happening here. And it's not going to be sustainable for me. So let me show you what I would suggest as a reframe for your weekly calendar. And this is how I would present it to maybe I only have 10 members in my ultra running community, right? Guys, every Monday, 7 p.m., we're going to meet up live. We're going to meditate on the week. We're going to set our intention for the week and what we want to accomplish. And we're going to visualize it together. Every single Monday, same time, I will be here. Friday morning, I'm going to post, share your Friday wins in the community. I want you all to post your progress and cheer each other on, celebrate each other. That's it. They're going to get that notification, same time. They're going to know that I am there as the host, holding that space for them. And even if they can't make it, they know exactly when it's happening the next week. You will get more out of this. Your members will get more out of this, I promise you, than you trying to have, pick from all these events that are happening. I promise you, they will get more out of this. And here is how you bring it to life for your specific community. All the prompts are in the People Magic community, in the People Magic GPT space. You start with, I run a community for, in a year we want to add the result. And then first you just start with, okay, I want to have an event. I want to have a post. What do you suggest for my weekly calendar? Then maybe you want to pick from our list. I want to do a give ask. I want to do a member spotlight. I want to do my office hours, but I want it to feel on brand, right? What are some names that are going to be really aligned to my community's big purpose, my ideal member? This is your space. This is your culture. So use the People Magic GPT to really brand it for yourself. I love this. Allison, this is saving me so much time and energy going innocently down rabbit holes. Girl, I've been there. So I am so glad to hear that. And then finally, I love this one. So we at Mighty, we have seen a lot. We've seen a lot of examples. We have kind of distilled it down into some templates that anybody can use. But there is no reason that's the only thing you can do. Ask the GPT to help you get creative. I have to tell you, I was blown away. I spent all my time in this world. I think I'm pretty creative. I was blown away by what I got back from my running community for this prompt. It told me to tell my members to grab a piece of paper, grab a marker. We're going to sit down together. We're going to draw out the route of our ultra marathon, and we're going to visualize it together. We're going to draw our family at the finish line. How cool is that? Again, maybe I do want to run an ultra marathon if I get to do something like that with a community of people holding me accountable. So this is how you take those ideas, those templates for weekly calendar, and really make it your own. And this is what my community design plan looks like now. And I see a lot in the chat like, oh, thank goodness. Okay, I feel good. This is helpful. I don't have to do all this stuff, but I know there are some of you who are like, oh, what happens on Tuesday or Thursday? Are people going to forget about my community? We got you. Daily polls and questions, okay? This is how you keep this steady drumbeat of engagement, whether you have 10 members, whether you have 1,000 members coming into your community. I promise you, okay? And we have a lot of data here at Mighty Networks. We are constantly looking at it to see what can we learn from all of these thousands of real communities on Mighty, hundreds of thousands, from what is working and what is not. And consistently, since we have started looking, polls and questions work to bring people back into the community. You ask a question, your members ask a question, everybody gets notified. They come in, they answer, other people chime in to their answer. You start to see this connection, this conversation in the comments. The question is the lead magnet. The comments are where the connection starts to happen. If you'll notice in our People Magic community, I love a multiple choice question, and I'm always leaving an other option. Ask us in the comments. Tell us in the comments. We want to encourage that conversation. People come back to see how other people have answered. You start to see these connections happen. One of my favorite stories, I don't even know, she might be here in the chat. One of our community strategists, Audra, who works with our Mighty Pro hosts, they have this white glove service. We help them do exactly what we're doing here today with the community design plan. And they came to her and they said, Hey, we're in a little bit of a lull with our membership. We're workshopping some things. We really would love a simple way to boost engagement. She said, I got you. I got you. She went in, she scheduled 2 polls and questions a week. 2 polls and questions a week. Their engagement quadrupled. Audra is here and loving the session. Audra, you tell me if I'm wrong. You know who I'm thinking about. Their engagement quadrupled. Easiest day of work I think Audra's ever had. Probably didn't even take her the whole day. And it works. It works. So this is just what questions look like in your community. We haven't talked too much about the software yet, but I just want to give you a little peek to what a question looks like in the Mighty Network so you understand what I'm talking about. We have an open-ended question. We have a multiple choice. We have a hot cold poll. I love these for just simple, how you feeling? We're halfway to our goal. We're halfway through our challenge. How are you showing up today? Really great way to take the pulse of your community. And we have our percentage questions. So these are the types of questions you can use in a Mighty Network. And they are all informed by this formula, because I'm not talking about just any question. I'm talking about a great question. And let me give you our enemy. Okay, our enemy in this discussion is a bad question. And I think the worst question in a community, I'm calling some of y'all out here probably. Hey, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of this? And here's why. Okay, we're all guilty of it. It's kind of hard to answer. It doesn't really lead you anywhere. It really, instead of making your member go, oh, I know the answer to that, they're like, huh, what do I think? Right? And there's just a better way to go about this. So a great question has an unlocking phrase. This is really the key, and a topic. Okay. And the unlocking phrase is what gives you that specificity, that constraint. So what's one, what's the first, what's the last, would you rather? It's focusing the question and you're going to get better answers. So I've heard some people in the chat in this session and in others saying, I'm doing all the things, Jane, Gina, I am doing all the things. I have my community design plan. I'm asking questions. Clarify your ideal member, clarify your best year ever, but also think about, are you asking great questions? We have a formula for it. Here are a couple examples. What's the first app you launch on your phone every day? Obviously, it's Mighty Networks. What's the most used emoji on your phone right now? This is a great icebreaker. I'm pretty sure mine is, do you know this guy? He's like thinking. I'm very intellectual that way. Mine's the little thinking guy. Would you rather get a letter from a good friend or a phone call? Again, I'm not having to sit and think and write a treatise. I can answer this with my thumb. I know the answer to this right away. What's one amazing feat you want to achieve in the next 5 years? If you want one simple action to do, if you already have a Mighty Network, go ask this question. It works for every single community, almost bulletproof. And of course, I have the prompts for you. And it's really just one, because what do we have now? We have our ideal member, we know what result they want, and we have our monthly themes. So go to the GPT, say, hey, here are my monthly themes for the next 6 months. You can do the whole year if you want. I want to have a mix of those question types. I want to have multiple choice. I want to have hot, cold. I want to have percentage polls. They look great. They're fun to answer. Do not shy away. And I want 12 questions per month. It will do its thing and it will spit out literal gold that you're going to go and put into your Mighty Network. It is awesome. But we didn't stop there. We didn't stop there, because we also built it into the product. So this is the infinite question engine. And what it does is, in any space that has a feed, it takes that question formula, it takes your big purpose, which is your ideal member and their best year ever, and it generates questions And you can go ahead and schedule, post, schedule, or say, I love these. You go ahead, Infinite Question Engine, and just post them for me. And it will post them every week. Has anyone played with this? I'm super curious. If you have, let others know how you feel about it. Some great things there between this and the GPT. Y'all got no excuses. You can come up with some great questions. All right, so now this is my community design plan for my ultra running community. I have some space for my members to breathe. I have lightweight things for them to do. They are connecting. They are moving through the year. And it's awesome. So we're 45 minutes in. I think we have time to talk about the magical first experience. And I'm really glad, and we can do more on it in the People Magic community. But I know hopefully a lot of you are like, awesome, I'm going to plan out my whole year. I'm definitely going to launch in January. And then there are some of you who are like, shoot, I have to launch in January. I can't just sit and work on content and plan my year for months and months and never actually have to invite somebody into my community. If you're feeling that way, let me know, because I get it. It is scary. Okay. What if somebody shows up and they're a jerk? What if somebody shows up and they're confused? What if somebody shows up and they don't like it? Ugh. Okay, that is scary. And look, it's a thing that a lot of people get wrong. Totally. It is a common mistake. It's not a fatal mistake. Okay. If you're like, ooh, at the end of this, you're like, my first experience isn't magical, not a fatal mistake, but there is a lot here that you can do that is easy and fun. And we have built into the software. So I'm going to spend my last few minutes going through this because I think it's so important. The 3 elements of a magical first experience: purpose, connection, and surprise. And there's something here that is missing, or there is something not here. Guidelines, rules, okay? And that doesn't mean you can't have them. You can totally have them. There is a place for community guidelines. There is a place for, hey, here is how we act and here's how we don't act in this community. But do not lead with them. You want to lead with purpose. One of my favorite metaphors for a community, full credit to Gina, is it's like a dinner party. And I've never been to a dinner party where the host just talked for 3 hours. That does not sound fun to me. Now that you have your community design plan, it's focused on connection. That's not going to be you. So we got that covered. I have also not been to a dinner party where the host was like, hi, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Before you come in, please don't yell at the other guests. Do not throw wine on the cat, and make sure you're not lighting my bathroom trash on fire. Right? That would be absurd. That is not the vibe for our magical first experience. Instead, you want to lead with purpose. Why are you all here together? I saw this in the chat. Vibe lines, not guidelines. I could not love that more, because it is all about, look, we are here to do something awesome together. And you are referencing that, filling it with positivity, and not focusing on what not to do in the first experience. So these are a couple ways to bring that purpose front and center. Make a welcome video and lead with the culture you want. If you go watch our welcome video in the People Magic community, you will see our fantastic host, Maya, and she's like, here's what we're here to do together. Another great way is to have a launch day welcome event. People are showing up as people, not just tiny avatars, right? Like, we make it fun on Mighty, but it's helpful to see, like, this is a real person. Hello, like, I'm Jane. Hi, if you're messaging me, this is me. That also helps set the tone, and you can see those member connections forming. And then you can cover the mechanics. You can cover the guidelines with our member checklist. So this is just an example community They are welcomed in. You can see this beautiful video. It's telling me how we're going to show up together. And I have my welcome checklist too. Simple, beautiful, magical. But then we add in connection. Connection is you want us from the beginning, have your members understanding how they can connect with each other and start to see what is special about each individual person in the community. So, icebreaker question. Absolutely, we will help your members fill out their profile. You can have an introduction post, but that might feel a little intimidating to people. And you're here about a shared goal. Have your icebreaker question. What do you want to get out of this community? People can start connecting there. Custom fields for their profiles. This is an alpha on Mighty right now, but very soon available to everybody. Let people identify in these really specific ways. Host a new member event. Welcome your new members. You're going to have that welcome committee, and then show them how show similarities works. I'm moving fast because there's a lot of good stuff here and I want to have questions, but we will reiterate this in the challenge. So we will help them fill out their profile. This is a feature you can turn on. And then once that's filled out, I go to Mia's profile. I can see this button, show similarities. It shows me what I have in common with Mia. So you want to show your members, hey, this is how you can really find the most relevant and interesting people. This is people magic. And it will even help me break the ice with Mia. It will suggest a conversation starter so we can start to have a conversation. This is the magic in your community, is your members connecting with other members. And then finally, surprise. This is not something you market. This is not join today and get this bonus. This is a surprise. Welcome somebody with a playlist. Welcome them with a surprising insight. Offer them just a blessing, a wish. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. This is my hope for you in the next year as a part of this community. And you can go live unexpectedly too. We do this in our communities. We love it when we have a new feature, when we have something to share, or just to say hi. We are going live, seeing who shows up. The people that don't show up still get that little notification, creates a little FOMO, never a bad thing to seed in your community. And if you go live unexpectedly and one person shows up, reframe it from, oh my gosh, no one showed up, to how cool, I got to connect with this person one-on-one. Because it's awesome. Care says, how do I share a playlist? The playlist, you could embed a Spotify playlist right in your Mighty Network. Super, super easy to do. We will teach you how in the challenge. And we have a little surprise baked into Mighty too. When someone joins and they're referred by a member, they get this confetti saying, hey, we're so glad you're here. Say hello to the person who referred them. So just a little confetti is just a fun surprise we got baked in. All right, here are your prompts for your magical first experience. Get it to write you a welcome video. Feed it your ideal member, feed it the best year ever, and get it to write you that welcome video script. Get it to help you seed connection, not only between your members, but to set the expectation that, hey, if you're having a great time, bring some more people on board. Let's do it. And then finally, ask it about surprises. I love the way this prompt works because look, I've told you about the playlist. I've told you about the guide. You can do a special badge. Push your friend, the GPT, to help you think more creatively. When I asked it this question for my running community, it gave me so many great ideas. I think my favorite one was tell new members to write their running mantra on their shoe and post a picture in the feed so that everybody can know their mantra, cheer them on. Like, how fun is that? Okay, I think, should I run an ultra marathon? I think maybe I should start this community. I'm definitely not one step ahead, but I could still bring people together. Maybe we'll decide together. All right, finally, my last thing down to the wire. You have your community design planned, you're thinking a year ahead, you have your idea for a magical first experience. I also want to reassure you, going back to that point of you do not need to wait to hire a team member to do this, that you can do this by yourself, especially with the automations we have built into the platform. Not everything is available on every plan. We can get into that in the challenge, but I just want you to picture your community when every new member, they see your welcome video, they get oriented with the checklist, they feel confident, I know where I am, I know where I'm going. They get a special badge when they answer your icebreaker question. They get invited to a special space with your gifts, with your playlist, with your Canva template right there for them to use. And they get a DM from you saying, I'm so glad you're here. This is what we're going to do together over the next year. You can automate all of this. You can have this running, your magical first experience engine in the background, have it running. So every new member who joins has this experience, and then you are there facilitating your weekly calendar, checking in with members, encouraging people to invite other people. It's gonna be super, super rad. And so I hope you're like, I'm obviously in on the challenge, countdown to January. I'm gonna be done before December. That's our mantra. And that instead of feeling overwhelmed, you're confident that not only are you going to be done before December, launch in January, you are going to be showing up every day in December 2025, feeling completely in control, completely confident about what you have accomplished and where you're going to go. That's my wish for you. That is my message to you. And that's it. That is it, folks. How did we do? 56 minutes. I wasn't sure I could do it, but I did it. I did it.
Phenomenal. Oh my goodness. I've been in the chat this entire time, Jane, but everyone is beaming with so many ideas. They're taking away
Yay!
everything. I was telling people don't screenshot, join the community,
It's all there.
peoplemagic.mn.co. It's all going to be there. This was phenomenal. Let's give it up for Jane in the chat, emojis, clapping, whatever you need to do. That was such good information that you shared. Thank you.
Oh
Thank you
my
so much for that.
gosh.
That was so good. In the few minutes that we have left, I don't know, did you want to go through some of these top questions that people were asking about?
Let me
Yeah,
go through some. Yeah,
sure.
I think there's some great ones here, and I'll just reiterate, first of all, not only can you use the prompts for the People Magic GPT, you can also ask it about Mighty, the software. So some of these questions, you can ask it that. We're in the community. But a couple things I see. How can users track milestones within the Mighty network? That's a great question. One of the things I love, love, love seeing is how people are creatively using our features for kind of these interesting use cases. So I want to shout out our course feature, our table of contents. You can turn it into a habit tracker. You can turn it into a bucket list, I've seen. Maya on our team is the absolute expert in that, and we can teach you how to do all of that in the community. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? A couple questions I think that are kind of similar around the weekly calendar, like should we do events? Should we do post? The answer is you can do both. And actually, maybe I'm going to end with this as my pearls of wisdom. What I just shared with you is meant to be really foolproof, prescriptive. I do this, I have this, we have the template. There's also this little thing we like to talk about called workshopping. Okay, if you have been around Mighty, you have heard of workshopping. You're going to try things. They're not all going to work.
Right.
Okay, stay curious. DJ, you've seen this in the communities you have helped run.
Oh, yeah.
Not everything works. You just say, okay, I wonder why. And you try something else. So start with an event, try a post, do 3 polls and questions, try 5 polls and questions. This is meant to give you a framework that you can make your own and learn what really, really works.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
for everyone asking amazing questions, join the community. You can post it there. You can get our advice. You can get advice from other people that have been part of Mighty, that have grown their communities on our platform. You can get so much information. Make sure to take it on there. Peoplemagic.mn.co. So much information can be added and given to you within the community. But this is phenomenal. But yeah, if there's any last ones that you want to leave them with, Jane, feel free.
Oh my gosh. A lot of people asking, where do I find the tools in my Mighty Network? We will start to drop some of those tutorials into the community, but also just show up day one, October 21st, and we will just start this journey together. We're going to have 30 days. Okay, say it with me. Done before December.
Yes.
My birthday's in December, okay? I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I'm chilling out. And you all deserve some time off. You're going to be done before December. And actually, okay, this is really my final thought, DJ, because Meyer asks, and I saw this earlier, how do I market my community? We haven't really hyped this up enough. In the People Magic community, we have bonus sessions. We have one on email newsletters. We have one on paid ads. We have one on social media. We are going to get you there. Okay. You can start with your people, but we know there is a hunger for understanding this world of marketing, even while you know there's going to be a simpler way. Come to the bonus sessions. DJ just shared the link to the community. Come there. Done before December, Asa says. Yes, you are going to have confidence here.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. Everything Jane shared will be inside this community. Steal it all. This is all for you. We're here to give you all the tools, all the insights, all the information that you could need to start your community. Join the 30-day challenge. Take everything that Jane shared and make the best community, bringing everyone together. That's the whole point of Mighty. So thank you so much, Jane, for sharing all this. Everyone was talking about how easily you share information. So I thought that presentation was phenomenal. But yeah, we will be seeing everyone at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at a new link for Amanda Getz. It will be inside of our chats. Any last words, Jane?
Come hear from Amanda. So she is going to blow your mind. She's done so many amazing things. We're stoked to have her on Mighty, and stick around. Stick around for the rest of the summit. We got good stuff coming up.
Yes, it's going to be great. Thank you all so much for being here. See you in the next session.
Bye.